Nietzsche and the Death of God. Friedrich Nietzsche was a 19th century German philosopher who had a profound influence on modern intellectual history. He is most famously known for his concepts of will to power, Übermensch, eternal recurrence, and many more. I will be focusing on his concept of the death of God, how it provides a wider commentary on modernism and his role as a pre-postmodernist thinker. The death of God first appeared in his book The Joy of Science and continued to be a prominent concept throughout his works, as you would expect no less from a man who wrote a book titled The Antichrist, which has less to do with the biblical character but more with an actual anti-Christian, as the original German title Der Antichrist can mean both things. It seems that he is more critical of the people and the institution of Christianity rather than anything theological per se. In his own words, he proclaims, "In truth, there was only one Christian, and he died on a cross." Most scholars argue that his main contention was the decay that came along with imposing a set of rules over the masses which resulted in a weak and decadent people, something which he saw as an opposition to will to power. It is another facet of slave morality which emerges when the laity begins to impose their values over the oppressors, and according to Nietzsche, Christianity is an example of it. However, the death of God, as he called it, has not much to do with his dislike of Christianity, but about something a bit more symbolic with the times. In specific, his reverence to ancient Greek life and its superiority compared to the modern 19th century world. In fact, Nietzsche, as a famous precursor to postmodernism, likely has signaled the death of modernity and its values towards the end of the century and his life. The Enlightenment values came about in a departure from the traditional and dogmatic sources of knowledge out of the divine, transformed in favor of more rigorous, rational, and scientific truths and facts. Philosophers such as Descartes and Leibniz attempted to base epistemology in more mathematical grounds, and Immanuel Kant, who was a figurehead of Enlightenment values, sought to place the mind and its rational faculties at the center. And yet, the same similar notions of dogmatic truth, only replacing God with reason, remained in this age of thought as well, were exemplified by the moral theories which were popular during Nietzsche's time, such as Kant's categorical imperative and Bentham's utilitarianism, which replaced the function of God as a moral compass with reason and mathematics. There was overall a newfound faith in scientific advancements and its ability to benefit mankind. However, things did already begin to change by the 19th century, as noted by Nietzsche himself, with the universal eternal truth was put on trial. Darwin's theory of evolution breaking apart creationist ideas, and Hegel's dialectics introducing the notion of ever-evolving truths. Nietzsche was often classified as an existentialist, as someone who speaks on the condition of human existence. Existentialism is usually regarded with Jean-Paul Sartre and his concepts in the 1940s, and though there is not much of similarity between these two, I seem to find a peculiar relationship in their philosophies. The events of the two world wars had really shattered the world, crippling countries and economies with unprecedented destruction and death. Sartre's idea of man and existence was born out of this anxiety during the wars, with the prime subject of inquiry shifted from abstract metaphysics to more grounded and real concerns about the human condition. The advancements of science had led to mass annihilation with the atomic bombs. The Enlightenment idea and faith into science had been put into question. The central tenets of postmodernism, if there are any, generally revolve around the progression out of modernism, which is dominated by science, and so postmodernism is based around questioning modernist values and the effectiveness of science for mankind. This may perhaps be seen reflected in Nietzsche's Death of God, which chronologically comes much nearer to the world wars than to the advent of modernism. This strikes with a common point between Nietzsche and Sartre and postmodernism, all of which concern themselves with the failures of science and modernism. the death of God being not a metaphor for religious dogmas, but for any absolute idea of truth, thus cementing Nietzsche's position as a postmodernist thinker well before time.